Alexander Isak to Liverpool explodes into life as Newcastle softens stance in mind-blowing twist. Newcastle United appear to have softened their stance regarding Liverpool's pursuit of Alexander Isak, with reports suggesting a dramatic deadline. Day exit is now a real possibility. The 25-year-old Sweden international has been Jurgen Klopp's main attacking target throughout the summer. Liverpool's interest has not faded even after Newcastle rejected a £110 million approach earlier in the window. Isac, who is understood to have made himself unavailable for selection in recent matches, is determined to engineer a switch to Anfield before the transfer window closes, leaving the Reds with a genuine opportunity to finally get their man, according to Luke Edwards of The Telegraph. Newcastle will seriously weigh up offers in the region of £130 million if Liverpool return with a new bid on deadline day, September 1st. The report adds that Newcastle's majority owners, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, have now indicated a willingness to sanction a sale, provided the offer meets their expectations. This revised £130 million valuation marks a notable climb down from the £150 million asking price Eddie Howe's side had previously set, signaling that the club may be reluctantly ready to move on from their star. Forward Liverpool must now decide whether to take the plunge, with Newcastle prepared to greenlight a deal even without securing a like-for-like replacement first. The Magpies have already landed German striker Nick Woltemade from Stuttgart in a club record £65 million move. But efforts to sign additional forwards such as Wolves' Jorgen Strand Larsen and Brentford's Jon Wissa have proven unsuccessful. Despite these frustrations in the market, Edwards reports that Newcastle will still allow Isac to leave if Liverpool trigger the £130 million threshold. The decision now rests with the Merseyside Giants, and the footballing world will be watching to see if they are ready to complete what could become the most expensive deadline day transfer in football history. Meanwhile, Liverpool's recent victory brought a memorable moment as Dominik Szoboszlai etched his name into the club's record books. The Hungarian midfielder became the 17th Liverpool player to score a direct free kick in the Premier League, and the first since James Milner back in February 2016, outside of efforts by Felipe Coutinho and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Reflecting on his stunning strike, Szoboszlai told Sky Sports, "Thankfully, we've had some time to practice free kicks recently. This one was a bit trickier, but I decided to take the chance. I was confident, I hit it well, and finally one went in. We've all seen Trent do it many times before, and I'm glad I got my chance and made the most of it." On the technique behind his effort, admitted, "I haven't practiced that exact shot for a few weeks because we'd been working on closer range positions. I knew I had to strike it harder, because Raya is such a strong keeper. If it dips too low, he saves it." Szoboszlai also praised Arsenal, Liverpool's opponent in the match. "They're an incredible team with a top manager. They've pushed both us and City so hard in recent seasons, and that shows their quality." Asked about the nervy VAR check, he laughed. "Honestly, I don't even remember much about it. With all the corners and long throws, it felt like chaos. I wasn't even sure what they were looking for." Speaking later to BBC Match of the Day, the midfielder added, "It's all about training. We've had the luxury of more time between games lately, and that helps. I've worked on free kicks my whole life, so I hope this is just the first of many for Liverpool." On his unusual deployment at right back, Szoboszlai admitted it was new territory. "I'd only done it once before, in a behind-closed-doors game in preseason. Monday was the first real test. But when the manager asks, I'll play anywhere and give everything to help the team." Finally, he underlined the importance of momentum heading into the international break. Beating Arsenal before halftime in the season is huge. They're direct rivals, so this result gives us confidence. Now we need to make sure we're ready for Burnley and keep pushing forward. Liverpool boss Arne Slot reflected on his team's hard-fought win during an interview with BBC's Match of the Day, describing it as, "A special moment of magic was needed to separate the two teams. It was a very balanced contest. Both sides were evenly matched. In my view, we had the edge in the second half, though both halves had their own magical moments." On being seen exhaling deeply in front of the Kop after the final whistle, Slot explained, "That was more about what the supporters were singing at that time. They sang a song for Diogo that always touches you. That's why I reacted the way I did. But yes, it really was one of those few type of games. From the touchline, it wasn't chaotic, more controlled, but still intense. Assessing his team's defensive work, Slot noted, they had, I believe, 9 corners in total. We dealt with them very well. Compared to Monday's game, where we didn't have to defend many set pieces, tonight was a real test. Against Arsenal, if you concede 9 corners and still manage to win through a set piece, then, as a coach, you can only say phew. On the looming transfer deadline day, Slot kept his cards close. I always say it depends on the right player at the right price, and I don't know if that's realistic at this moment. Honestly, I'm still processing the emotions of this match. Maybe later tonight I'll have a clearer picture. But as you could see, with players like Joe Gomez and Curtis Jones coming in today, our squad is already very strong. Speaking separately, to Sky Sports, the Dutchman added, beating a team like Arsenal, who were excellent last season and have improved again, is hugely positive. How much this result means, though, we'll only really know at the end of the season. On what changed tactically to secure the win, Slot admitted with a smile. I heard Jamie Carragher saying after Bournemouth that we were too open, so we tried to make the match a little less exciting. Arsenal's setup made it tough there. Midfielders dropped very deep to defend. At 1-1 we adjusted, with Szoboszlai moving inside and 3 midfielders pressing higher. In the second half, that gave us control. Eventually, though, it still required one magical moment to settle things. Szoboszlai's impact. Slot was full of praise. Once again, he delivered. I've only been working with him for just over a year, but he shows the complete picture of what Liverpool stands for. Whether he plays wide, deeper, or as a number 10, he gives everything. Today, once more, he was outstanding. Manchester United are not playing games as the transfer window reaches its boiling point. Buckle up, Reds. This update is going to have you buzzing, asking questions, and wondering what the next few days might look like for our beloved club. Let's get straight into it. Emiliano Martinez could be on his way to Old Trafford. Yep, you read that right. Multiple reports claim United have agreed personal terms with the Aston Villa goalkeeper and have already approached the club to get the deal moving. Just let that sink in for a moment. The World Cup winning keeper, the man who stood tall for Argentina and Qatar, could soon be walking out in front of the Stretford end. That's massive. This wouldn't just be a signing, it would be a statement, a clear show of ambition from Ruben Amorim and the United board. But here's the question. Do we actually need Martinez? Or should the focus remain on Senna Lamens? That deal's still alive. Reports suggest United are ready to go all in for Martinez if the Lamens talks collapse. If you were in Amorim's shoes, who would you go for? The young Belgian with loads of potential, or the proven World Cup winner? Midfield moves. Heating up now to midfield, where things get even more interesting. United have reportedly